Music and media are the two most common forms of hypnosis, and I want to reach out today to let y'all know that comparison is a thief of joy. Now, a lot of y'all might click on this video and say, oh, I'm not worried about it. I don't really use social media. I don't compare myself, right? But understanding that a lot of us do use social media. That's how you clicked on this YouTube video, and whether it's YouTube, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whatever it may be, there's some sort of social media platform that you're using, and people only use social media to outline the highlights. Now, I did notice in 2025, there's a lot more creators like myself that are coming on here and being a lot more organic and letting you guys know the pros and the cons of what's real and what's not real. But understanding that the majority of people on social media use that to show the highlights of their life, and that's okay. But understanding that music and media is hypnosis. So the things that you consume are going to completely reflect on your mindset, the things that you value in life, and understanding that if you're intentionally or unintentionally comparing yourself to people on social media, you're doing yourself a disservice, because what you're doing is you're paying more attention and fantasizing more on the fruits of their labor and the abundance that's in their life, as opposed to doing the things that you need to do to work on your own. See, a lot of us get caught up in this cycle where we might look to people for motivation, and that's okay. But it's also important that you understand that finding motivation and inspiration from somebody doesn't mean that you have to compare your life and feel like you're behind. Everybody's timeline is different, and of course, I'm a creator that comes on here and I always talk about getting better. I always talk about reaching your goals, reaching success. So understanding that it is okay to want more, and it is okay to push yourself to want more, but comparison is where it gets a bit tricky. There's a lot of creators that make a lot of money and, you know, they display their lifestyle and stuff like that, but understanding that their timeline might not be their timeline, understanding that they might have a different starting point than you did, or they might have just took extra initiative that you're not taking. So compare those type of things. Compare the daily actions, compare the daily habits, as opposed to the fruit and the material of their labor. Understanding that a lot of these things in life, material things, is easy. They're easy to attract, believe it or not. It might sound cliche, it might sound like, well, why am I struggling? But really, I'm learning as I'm on the journey to success and in the accomplishments that I've already achieved, that it's simply just you versus you. Oftentimes, a lot of us aren't taking the steps that we really need to take our life to the next level, yet we're wondering why we're not in the place that we want to be. See, if you would spend more time focusing on what you have going on in your situation, as opposed to comparing yourself to other people and getting negative self-talk from watching other people succeed and be in the place that you feel like you should have been in by now, 9 times out of 10, you're doing yourself a disservice. The problem is you're comparing your behind-the-scenes self, your day-to-day struggles and traumas that you deal with, to somebody's highlight reel on social media. They're not going to show the bad parts. They're not going to show the slow months. They're not going to show the negative accounts. They're not going to show when they're not going on vacation. They're not going to show when they aren't in the flyest cars. They're only going to show when they're doing those things, and understanding that it's okay if somebody shows that. And some people, they might not go through hardships. They might have finally reached a point in their life to where they limit the amount of hardships that they go through. But understanding that that's not the reality for everyone, and simply that's just not the reality for you. If you're going through a hardship, whether they're showing it or not, whether they're going through it or not, it doesn't really matter, because that's their life and that's the fruits of their labor. It's okay that they show that and display that, and it's okay that you can get motivation and inspiration from that. But it's also important that you don't compare yourself, because now you're going to develop insecurities, you're going to develop negative self-talk, you're going to develop anxiety, you're going to develop depression, all of these emotions that come from the enemy, and it's going to further feed the idea that you're a failure. It's going to further feed the idea that if you're not there now, you're never going to get there. It's going to further feed the idea that maybe this just isn't for you. Maybe you're just meant to be stuck in the abundance that you're in now, and that's not true at all. Everybody has a second life waiting for them. Everybody has success waiting for them in their path, but it's just on you if you're going to take the steps to get there. And our time is so valuable. If we spend a lot of our time consuming and consuming and consuming, 9 times out of 10 we're going to just be in hypnosis around what we're consuming. So if you're not consuming educational content that's going to get you towards your goals, and you're just consuming content of watching people achieve their goals, now you're going to start trying to walk in alignment with what they got going on, as opposed to what you got going on. Maybe they might have a material thing, or maybe they might be doing something that you want to do, but is the path that they took to get that the path that you want to go? Do you even know the path that they took to get that? Is the path that they're saying that they took to get that, is that really the path that they're taking, or are they trying to sell some get-rich-quick scheme? That's what a lot of you guys need to understand with social media nowadays. So understanding that it's very, very important that you pull inspiration. It's very, very important that you find people that are doing the things that you want to do, and you look to them for inspiration. But it's also important that once you got that inspiration, once you get that motivation, you start developing the game plan that you need to start putting more fruit in your garden and start making your life more abundant. Because watching them isn't going to help you. Comparing yourself isn't going to help you. All that's going to do is help them. It's going to help them get more views, more likes, more shares, more watch time, when in reality, you need to be using all of that energy and time to put back into yourself. So understanding that whatever goal it is that you have is just on the other side of the fence. You're only 100 meters away. So stay locked in. Only look for inspiration, not for comparison, and trust in God and the plan that he has for you, and I promise he will make your path straight. Y'all stay blessed.